People are going to the GHF sites because they can't afford that.
Right. So they have to go there to get food.
The poor in Gaza cannot afford that.
Who is selling food at those prices? Like, is it Hamas or no?
No, it's not Hamas. It's gangs inside of Gaza. So that's a whole different conversation. If you want to get into, we can talk about it.
I'd love to talk about that.
So,
on Monday, Theo Von interviewed Dr. Aziz Rahman, a Wisconsin doctor who spent 2 weeks working in Gaza. So through their conversation, we learned that IDF-sponsored gangs, not Hamas, are making the food prices in Gaza skyrocket. And as a result, Gazans are forced to get food from the death traps that are set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which we know is backed by Israel. So we have a lot more clips to show you, but Cenk, what do you think about this first part of the interview?
Yeah, that's why cable news can't stop talking about the IDF-sponsored gangs that are actually stealing the. Oh, I'm getting news that they never talk about it. Interesting. So by the way, these doctors, American doctors that go to help people in Gaza, the biggest heroes you've ever seen. Jesus, that guy's got a 6-month-old. He explained another doctor has a 5-month-old at home. One doctor that went had is a 2-week-old at home. They're leaving their families and their children behind to possibly get murdered by the Israelis just so they could help save people's lives. He talked earlier in that Theo Von interview about how hundreds of wounded and killed would come in on the same day when Israel did one of their mass slaughters. And that no doctor could go longer than 4 hours because it was so gruesome, right? And in this portion, when he was there on the ground, he wound up seeing these IDF-sponsored gangs of Palestinians, sellouts who are working for the Israelis, and they're the ones stealing food. They have weapons, etc. You'll see more of that in a second. And thank you, God bless him, for telling us the truth and reality about Gaza.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get to the gangs themselves, let's watch Dr. Rahman explain what food prices are like in Gaza right now.
So they have markets, which is this tent with food. And unfortunately, the inflation there is serious. So for example, I think tomatoes have gone up like 3,000% in the last few months, or before this conflict to now, it's like 3,000%. I have a chart which I'll share with you, and it was in my grand rounds that I was talking about. And it's a cash economy there. So when people take it out of their bank accounts, it's like 50% of their value is lost in this transaction. So like a bag of cucumbers and tomatoes in America might cost $10, cost like $50 there. But that's after the 50% cut. So it's $100 to buy a bag of tomatoes and cucumbers. I mean, just the inflation's crazy. A bag of flour, which maybe 20 kilograms, which would last like a normal average family, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, costs $500.
Okay, so next here, he talks about how the gangs actually function and why the IDF created them in the first place.
So I think what the Israeli military realized is they just can't do the job that they were intending to do. They can't destroy Hamas. So they have employed a new methodology where they have basically taken people in Gaza who hate Hamas, so ex-prisoners that were probably in Gaza before, and employed them. So they basically drop these little bombs that shoot out little eSIMs to say, hey, call us if you want to work with us.
SIM cards, you mean?
Yeah, SIM cards, that's what I meant.
Okay.
And it says, call us. So, this person who wants to sell out basically calls them, hey, we'll protect your family. We're gonna make sure your family's happy. We're gonna give you some money. We'll make sure we'll never bomb you, etc. Right?
Is that true?
I mean, I'm telling you what I was told.
Okay.
Abu Shabab is this main gang leader. Okay. He actually, there's news articles about him. Yeah, Yasser Abu Shabab. He works with the IDF. And so his gang basically gets first dibs on the aid coming in. So he and his gang steal the aid, and then they go to the market and sell at super high prices.
All right, so Rahman went on to explain why he doesn't believe that Hamas would be able to steal aid en masse even if they wanted to. Take a look at that.
We were in the hospital looking outside, and there's like, you just hear this AK-47. And I asked the locals, I was like, I thought you can't have a gun in Gaza. And they're like, you can't. And I was like, so how is that guy shooting a gun openly in the air, trying to get everyone away from the aid? And they're like, they're IDF associated gangs.
It's like contractors.
Yeah, it's contractors. But like, it's logic, right? If you are walking around with a gun in Gaza, that drone is watching you. You are going to die.
But what is also the rumors of Hamas controlling food there?
I have no evidence for that. And I don't even see how that's feasible. I mean, how are they going to loot the trucks when that drone is watching? That surveillance drone is watching every single move of everyone in Gaza.
So tell me that you walk outside, you can hear the drone?
Oh yeah, it's just buzzing over you 24/7.
Well, it's not just Rahman speaking up about this. CBS News reported the following in June. It said former Israeli defense minister and opposition lawmaker Avigdor Lieberman accused Israel's prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu of authorizing weapons transfers to a criminal gang in Gaza that he likened to the ISIS terrorist group. Netanyahu appeared later in the day to confirm the operation, suggesting it would save the lives of Israeli forces battling Hamas in the Palestinian territory. Lieberman appeared to be referring to a militia called the Popular Forces of Palestine, led by Yasser Abu Shabab. It has been accused of looting trucks trying to deliver aid to Gaza's starving population, which its leader reportedly denied. Well, of course, its leader reportedly denying aid to Palestinians. This whole thing is bonkers, Cenk. The idea that the same people committing a genocide, or even if you don't want to call it that yet, right? If you're still not at genocide point, right? We can still see that the IDF is actively bombing Gaza, killing its people, including its children, and systematically eradicating its existing culture. And that's what gets me, is that it's all very systematic, it's very deliberate, and none of it, there is no remorse, right? But then those people are the same people who told the international community, don't worry, we'll make sure that those same people are getting fed. We'll make sure that those people that we're bombing are getting taken care of. It just doesn't make any sense. Israel, especially the IDF, they are no longer interested in making the effort to feign innocence here. They're doing what they're doing and they think they're justified in doing it. So they're not gonna stop doing it anytime soon. They don't value Palestinian life. They will tell you that themselves, they have done. But credit to Theo Von for finally understanding what's happening and for exploring this reality on his show, and for having this doctor on, a doctor who was there in Gaza and has firsthand knowledge of what is actually going on there. Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, look at life in Gaza. So there's a drone watching you at all times. You could be murdered by that drone for whatever reason, or when the drone calls in a strike, etc. And so it's Big Brother. It's the worst form of Big Brother you've ever heard. But Big Brother's not just watching. Big Brother's got his finger on the trigger. And if you step a little bit, well, you don't actually have to step out of bounds. You don't have to actually do anything wrong. They kill you anyway, right? Like, so then they'll say, oh, oops, we accidentally murdered tens of thousands of civilians and tens of thousands of children. It's not an accident. They know exactly who they're killing. They did a targeted strike against 6 journalists the other day. One of the most prominent journalists for Al Jazeera murdered, along with 3 other Al Jazeera reporters and 2 independent media reporters, all murdered by Israel on purpose. It's a slaughterhouse. Okay, so then they say, oh yeah, Hamas is stealing the food. But listen to what Dr. Rahman's saying. So if you're Hamas and you have a gun and you step outside, the drone's gonna see you and boom, you're dead instantly. So there's this whole thing of like, can you believe they're hiding it among the civilian population? Brother, if they step outside, they're dead instantly. So like, oh no, yeah, they should all step outside and voluntarily get killed. Okay, maybe they should, but they're not going to. Okay, no one does that. That's not a realistic answer. But are they stealing the food? Well, how can they steal the food if they have no weapons? They can't step outside with weapons, but the so-called Popular Forces of Palestine has weapons. They have weapons all over the place and they're not being killed because they're working with the Israelis. So the people stealing the food and thuggishly intimidating fellow Palestinians is this group sponsored by the IDF. Okay, now, do you know that that's how Hamas started? So Ariel Sharon and Netanyahu thought, the Palestinian Authority, Fatah in the West Bank, and at the time in Gaza Strip, was too popular, and they wanted to divide and conquer. So they started encouraging another group to fight against them, Hamas. Oops. But is it an oops? Is it an oops? Is it an oops that they just conveniently ignored the intelligence on October 7th? A country that has enormous technological capability, enormous intelligence capability, apparently the best intelligence agency in the world. And oh golly gee, oh, did we accidentally fund Hamas? Golly gee, did we accidentally drop our guard down on October 7th when we had the information that they were going to attack? Oh, did we use that to murder half of Gaza and now declare a plan to steal the whole thing, conquer it in their own words? So yeah, no, it's not Hamas stealing the foods. It's either the Israelis that are murdering people waiting for the food, or their new traitor sellout thugs that are the actual criminal gangs in Gaza, funded unsurprisingly by the terrorist government of Israel.
Yeah, if there is a hell, then there's a special place in hell for these people. But that aside, whenever you create chaos in a nation and whenever you foster an environment of fear, then people lose their sense of community and they're just trying to survive. This feels like a survival instinct, and I'm definitely not trying to justify it, but I'm saying that this is the kind of environment that the IDF has deliberately created in Gaza, turning the people against each other. It's not a good situation, and they're just a complete lack of remorse.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.